My wife thought I was taking something behind her back. I wasn't. I was just doing this 5-minute exercise while watching ESPN. Remember when your biggest bedroom concern was whether the kids might hear? Now it's whether you'll stay firm enough to finish what you started. I lived that nightmare at 58. 2 years ago, I made my third awkward excuse in a month to avoid intimacy with my wife. Her hurt expression said everything. Our 3 decades of marriage were entering dangerous territory. Not because of love lost, but because my confidence was gone. My body wasn't responding like it used to. What I discovered by accident changed everything. A ridiculously simple technique that 70% of men over 50 have never heard about. No pills, no pumps, no prescriptions. Just a 5-minute daily practice nobody can see you doing. The best part? I was back in the game after just 14 days. Let's be straight about what happens after 50 that nobody warns you about. It's not just taking longer to get going. It's the anxiety that builds every time things don't work right. Each disappointment creates more pressure the next time, and suddenly you're trapped in your head instead of being in the moment. My wake-up call happened during our anniversary weekend at a mountain cabin. The setting was perfect. Fireplace, whiskey, no distractions. When my wife initiated, I felt panic instead of excitement. What if I couldn't perform? What if it started strong but faded halfway through? The pressure became so overwhelming that exactly what I feared happened. Nothing worked right. On the silent drive home, I made every excuse: stress, fatigue, too much alcohol. But we both knew the pattern was becoming more frequent. Once home, I did what every modern man does with health concerns: consulted Dr. Google in private browsing mode. The rabbit hole of potential solutions was depressing. Expensive supplements with exotic ingredients harvested from remote mountain goats. Pills with side effects worse than the problem. Contraptions that looked like medieval torture devices. I tried several options, wasting nearly $400 and experiencing nothing but headaches, an upset stomach, and one particularly alarming racing heartbeat. A low point came when my wife found a browser tab I'd forgotten to close, a forum discussing male performance issues. Instead of embarrassment, her face showed hurt. Why wouldn't you talk to me about this instead of strangers online? That night changed everything. We had our first honest conversation about what was happening. No medical terminology, no euphemisms. Just raw truth about my fears of inadequacy and her fears of being no longer desired. We ended up closer emotionally, but I still needed a solution for the physical issues. My breakthrough came from the most unexpected source, our neighbor Tom, age 67. We were grilling steaks when he mentioned his doctor recommended strength training after his prostate procedure. Thinking he meant weightlifting, I asked which gym he joined. Not that kind of strength, he laughed. It's something you do anywhere. Been doing them while we've been talking. That conversation led me to research something I'd always considered women's territory: Kegel exercises. Turns out these pelvic floor exercises benefit men just as much, especially after 50, when those muscles naturally weaken. Think of your pelvic floor like the foundation of a house. When it's strong, everything above functions properly. These muscles control blood flow to your equipment and help maintain firmness. They're also essential for control over when you finish. That critical skill that separates good experiences from great ones. My doctor later confirmed what Tom had casually shared over ribeyes, that strengthening these muscles could address both my firmness issues and stamina concerns. When I asked why he'd never mentioned this during my physicals, he shrugged. Most men aren't comfortable discussing these things, so we usually jump straight to prescriptions. Learning these exercises wasn't straightforward. Unlike bicep curls, where you can see the muscle working, these internal muscles require mind-body connection. My first attempts felt like trying to wiggle ears that don't exist. The breakthrough came during my morning shower. Relaxed and not overthinking, I suddenly felt the correct muscles engage. That aha moment, being able to isolate and control these specific muscles, was the turning point. I developed a simple routine: contract for 3 seconds, Relax for 3 seconds. Repeat 10 times. 3 sets daily. That's it. 5 minutes total, done during everyday activities. Morning coffee, traffic lights, commercials during football games. The genius is in the stealth. You can do these exercises during a business meeting, watching a game with buddies, or standing in line at Home Depot. Nobody knows you're simultaneously rebuilding your sexual performance. It's like having a secret superpower. 2 weeks in, something remarkable happened. I woke up with morning wood, something that had become increasingly rare. Not earth-shattering, but definitely a sign something was changing. Week 3 brought the moment of truth. My wife and I were watching a movie when I felt actual confidence return. Not hope or wishful thinking, but genuine confidence based on the changes I'd been feeling. When we moved to the bedroom, everything worked better than it had in years. I maintained firmness throughout and had control over timing for the first time in longer than I could remember. Afterward, propped up on her elbow, my wife asked point blank, "Did you take something? You seem different." The look of suspicion was almost comical. I explained the exercises I'd been secretly doing. As I demonstrated the subtle, invisible movement, she burst out laughing. "So you've been doing these during dinner? While we watch TV? When we're out with friends?" That conversation became a turning point in our relationship. The secret I'd kept out of embarrassment became something we discussed openly, even with humor. "Are you doing your exercises right now?" became her playful question whenever I looked too contemplative. By month 2, the benefits extended beyond the bedroom. The annoying post-urination dribble that had become my normal, gone. The slight leakage when sneezing or lifting heavy items, no more. Even my core stability improved during golf. My drives gained nearly 15 yards without any other changes to my game. 6 months later, these exercises are as automatic as brushing my teeth. The benefits haven't plateaued. They've actually increased as I've progressed to more advanced variations. But the biggest transformation wasn't physical. It was finally breaking free from the anxiety cycle. No more dreading intimate moments. No more elaborate excuses. No more silent worry about whether I'd perform adequately. That psychological freedom allowed natural responses to return, creating a positive cycle of confidence and performance. Let me share the exact routine that gave me my confidence back, including the mistake that almost made me quit before seeing results. First, finding these invisible muscles. Right now, wherever you're watching this, try this. Tighten the muscles you'd use to stop urinating midstream or prevent passing gas in an elevator. Feel that lift? That's your pelvic floor engaging. If you're thinking, "I didn't feel anything," you're in good company. Nearly 80% of men can't properly isolate these muscles on their first try. We've ignored them for decades. Here's the foolproof method I discovered. Next time you're in the bathroom, start urinating, then stop the flow midstream. That stopping sensation, that's your target muscle. Don't practice regularly while urinating, though. That can cause other problems. The mistake that derails most men is tensing everything but the right muscles. Your abs shouldn't tighten. Your butt shouldn't clench. Your thighs shouldn't engage. If your face turns red or you're holding your breath, you're working too hard at the wrong things. The best way to check: place 2 fingers behind your testicles, between your scrotum and anus. When you contract correctly, you'll feel an upward lift against your fingers. No movement there, you're working the wrong muscles. Now for the routine that changed everything. I call it the 3-3-10 approach. Contract your pelvic floor for 3 seconds. Imagine lifting everything up. Release completely for 3 seconds. Full relaxation is crucial. Repeat 10 times for 1 set. Do 3 sets daily, spread throughout your day. That's it. 5 minutes total. No equipment, no membership fees, no embarrassing purchases. After 2 weeks of consistent practice, upgrade to the 5-5-12 approach. Hold contractions for 5 seconds. Release for 5 seconds. Do 12 repetitions per set. Maintain 3 sets daily. Once you've mastered the basics, these advanced techniques accelerated my results. The elevator. Imagine your pelvic floor is an elevator. Contract 20% and hold, first floor. Then 40%, second floor. Then 60%. 80%, and finally 100%, top floor. Then gradually descend in the same stepped manner. The flutters perform rapid contractions, 1 per second, for 20 seconds straight. These work the fast-twitch muscle fibers crucial for control during intimate moments. The long hold. Work up to maintaining a 70% contraction for 30 seconds. This builds the endurance that makes all the difference when it counts. Success comes from integration into daily routines. Here's how I made these exercises automatic. Morning coffee, 1 set while the coffee brews. Red traffic lights, quick flutters until the light changes. Commercials during sports, perfect timing for a complete set. Brushing teeth, the electric toothbrush timer is ideal for a set. Set silent reminders on your phone for 3 times daily. I use 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. After a few weeks, you won't need reminders anymore. It becomes automatic. Want to accelerate your results? This was my game changer. Practice conscious contractions during self-pleasure. This creates a powerful mind-muscle connection that directly translates to better performance with a partner. Start with contractions before arousal, then maintain during partial arousal, building to holding contractions with full arousal. Remember, this is your private advantage. No one knows you're doing it unless you choose to share. Just you, rebuilding the natural strength you were always meant to maintain. Let's put it all together. This 5-minute daily practice strengthens the exact muscles controlling your performance and stamina. The routine progresses from basic contractions to advanced techniques that give you unprecedented control. What can you realistically expect? The timeline varies, but here's what most men experience. Weeks 1 to 2, subtle changes, stronger morning firmness, greater awareness of these muscles. Weeks 3 to 4, noticeable improvements, better staying power, beginning control over timing, increased confidence. Months 2 to 3, significant transformation, performance levels you might not have experienced since your 30s, complete confidence, no anxiety. Unlike pills or quick fixes, these exercises create lasting improvement that builds over time. Your pelvic floor responds like any muscle. It gets stronger with training and maintains that strength with regular use. Let me address questions I frequently hear. Will this completely cure erectile dysfunction? It's not a miracle cure for severe cases, particularly those caused by serious medical conditions. But for the mild to moderate issues that plague most men over 50, especially the kind made worse by performance anxiety, many men see dramatic improvement. How long until I can stop doing the exercises? This isn't a temporary fix. It's about maintaining muscle tone, just like any fitness routine. The good news is that once you establish the habit, maintenance requires less frequency than building initial strength. Can I overdo these exercises? Absolutely. Like any muscle training, more isn't better. Excessive training can create tension problems that are counterproductive. Start with the routine I've outlined and increase gradually. Listen to your body. Should I tell my partner? That's entirely your choice. Many men find that sharing this journey creates deeper intimacy and understanding. My wife's knowledge and encouragement became valuable support. Plus, there's something liberating about transforming something that was once shrouded in embarrassment into an open conversation. The true impact of this practice goes far beyond the physical benefits. The psychological transformation can be even more significant. The dark cloud of performance anxiety that followed me for years gradually lifted. I stopped avoiding intimate moments. The dread I felt when my wife initiated contact disappeared completely. This wasn't just about function, it was about reclaiming my identity as a capable, confident partner. My wife didn't just notice better performance, she noticed my renewed playfulness, my willingness to initiate, my presence in the moment, rather than being lost in anxious thoughts. At 58, I genuinely feel more sexually confident than I did at 48. Not because I'm pretending to be younger, but because I'm maximizing what I have now, with knowledge and control my younger self never possessed. This transformation is available to you starting right now. As you watch this video, try contracting those muscles correctly. That's the beginning of your comeback story. Set 3 reminders on your phone for tomorrow. Comment below with your commitment to try this for 30 days. Questions about the technique? Ask in the comments and I'll respond personally. Share this video with someone who needs this information. We men rarely discuss these issues openly, but a simple share might be the most valuable gift you could give a friend struggling silently with the same challenges. The most important lesson from my journey isn't just about physical technique. It's about refusing to accept limitations that can be overcome. At any age, we have more control over our bodies and satisfaction than we've been led to believe. 5 minutes daily is a small investment for such profound returns. Your best days aren't behind you. They're just waiting for you to strengthen the right muscles.